If you want to look inside your mum's brain after it's been on half a bottle of red and menopause, then look no further than The Project, where we looked at the Simpsons parody of schmaltzy news segments Bart's People and thought,
well, why stop at one segment? Let's make it a whole hour. If a furry animal flops out of a vagina in a zoo and we didn't film it, did it happen?
hosted by the exact opposite of Buddhist monks, 4 extremely narcissistic Logie winners, because that's where you should be getting your news from, the guy that won the same award as Scott Cam.
He builds houses and I build mines.
Woman's Weekly Noam Chomsky. No one is better than Waleed at waffling on about incredibly important, non-cotton candy issues purely so they get praise from the New York Times of Australia, Mamma Mia.
Guys, it's time to talk. Rock God to man. Soulful. Fred Durst soulful. Anyway, have you ever looked at a woman? A cheeky glance? Hell, I've done it.
But ask this paragon of journalistic integrity as she writes for the Daily Mail and has heaps of pictures of Kim Kardashian in her office, just like how serious journalists have pictures of them shaking hands with Nelson Mandela, and she'll tell you that's sexual assault.
Sometimes you're just walking down the street and there's this guy staring at you and you're like, ugh, can you not? You're not even like a DJ. And guys, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey Waleed, cool haircut. And playing Moby in the background more than makes up for the fact that this segment lacks any evidence at all. But I'm up against 14 million years of human evolution. How do I not look at an attractive woman? Well, it's very simple. Make this hashtag viral. Blind yourself with battery acid. Oh yeah, good advice, Waleed. Oh, it always is. Bit too heavy to go into an ad break on that though, so let's give the audience a nice big slab of dopamine! Bill Shorten said in a press conference...
What was the press conference about?
Oh, we don't discuss that on the project, Sarah, and we definitely don't discuss their ramifications, ever. What we do is clip together Bill Shorten saying a word a lot, because that's the big take-home of any press conference, isn't it? Since the get-go, this Royal Commission has been a complete shambles. The whole thing has been a shambles since day one. Shambles now, shambles. Oh, yep, about 3 people out of 50 in the audience laughed. New record. How many more times are you going to do that politician saying a word too much joke tonight, Limo? 8 more times, mate. Okay, at least he's honest. You're watching The Project, the show that makes a current affair look like a John Pilger documentary, now hosted by female John Howard, who, just like how zombies say, we've taught our audience to think that she's brave.
Coming up, Jesus, we spent about 40% of the show explaining what's coming up. But coming up, we get about 1/10 as tough on Malcolm Turnbull as we are on fucking Limo with such hard-hitting questions as...
So who's your hot tip for the Melbourne Cup, Malcolm? I'd have to go with Winks. I'm a big fan of the jockey. It's a very good question, Waleed. Thank you for posing it. Oh, gnarly. See, this is what the news should be. No analysis of policy, just politicians making dinner plans with journalists live on TV.
There is a member of our team who's very disappointed he can't be here tonight,
right.
Mr. Pete Hellier. He wants to know when are Pete and I coming for dinner. You promised us we'd come for dinner.
Well, you're very busy, but if you can fit me into your schedule, you let me know.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm looking forward to that fish you promised me.
Done.
No vested interest in that, just a shared interest in leather jackets.
Then later, we talk to Bill Shorten on a screen, just like a judge talking to a criminal who's too dangerous to be in the courtroom, and try really hard to frame him as being responsible for your penalty rates cuts, despite the glaringly obvious fact that he's not Prime Minister. And we'll do this by preventing him from discussing penalty rates at all, and instead spend the entire interview attacking him on bullshit semantics.
Mr. Shorten, you said that you would accept the Fair Work Commission's decision on penalty rate cuts, whatever it was. Whatever it was. And now you're not doing that?
Well, because, Sherry, I didn't consider in a million years that the Fair Work Commission's decision would be to cut 680,000 of the poorest workers' wages. Yeah, but mate, I think the bigger issue here is that you changed your mind when new evidence came to light. Like, that's exactly what you're supposed to do, mate. So, you can see how that's pretty scummy, right? Limo, is this seriously what you're turning the story of the Liberal Party cutting penalty rates in this country into?
Me sticking up for workers as being somehow immoral because of a line I said on a Melbourne drive home show a year ago. Well, yeah. Because I think, Bill, what our audience would be more concerned with than the fact that the Liberals just cut the money they used to pay for electricity is the very specific structure of a sentence they didn't even know you said.
Ooh, got him there, Wally. Definitely worth not having plumbing. Also, Bill, mate, you said the figure 680,000 quite a lot in a press conference today.
Never gets old. The propaganda model. The mental equivalent of eating fairy floss with just a hint of arsenic, now 6 days a week. Oh, why not 7? Please share and comment below. Comment.